Looking at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Honda CR-V. This is the 2026 model. If you want to walk through on the last generation version, you'll find that down in the description of this video. They are pretty much identical with a few small changes. There are a series of different buttons and stocks that are available. The first thing I'm going to point out though is that the steering wheel inside the vehicle is going to be manual telescoping across the entire lineup. In order to be able to set that one up and change it out, down by your left knee, there's a release, and it's full telescoping, so you can go in, out, up, and down to find that perfect position. Once you find it, you're just going to click it in order to lock it back into place. And there are a number of different buttons and stocks, but down by your left knee here, you've got two different buttons, so you can open and close the liftgate, and then if you've got a windshield that's electronic defrosting, you can toggle it on there. You might also have seat memory inside of your CR-V. If you've got it, what you're going to do, set your driver's seat up the way that you'd like to. So the big switch there, so you can go forwards, backwards, up, or down with it. You can also do like a little bit of a diagonal motion if you'd like to. The next one over is going to adjust out your backrest. And then the circular one is going to be for your multi-way lumbar support. Once you've got that set up, tap set, either 1 or 2 for it to remember your own personal profile. So if somebody else has jumped into your seat, you can then just push and hold in order to be able to reset absolutely everything. And then the buttons and stocks, starting off along the left-hand side here is obviously going to be for your turn signals, flashing out your high beams. With your high beams in general, you want to keep yourself in the auto mode. And then inside of the infotainment system here, if you go into your vehicle settings and then lighting, you want to make sure that auto high beam is toggled on here. Because what that means is that later on at night, if the vehicle recognizes high beams are needed, it turns them on automatically. If a car is oncoming, it turns them off before turning them right back on again. But if you wanted to permanently lock your high beams out, go into the upper headlamp mode, or technically the lower mode, push away to turn them on, pull towards you to turn them off. It's just the auto mode. You won't be able to lock them out if it's a little bit too bright outside. Stock along the right-hand side is going to be for your wipers. So if you go up a level, that's just a quick wipe. If you go down one level, that's the intermittent mode, which means you can use the rocker in the middle there in order to say how fast or slow rain's hitting the windshield, or go to some of those faster modes instead. Along the outside, you can also adjust out your rear wiper, and then, if we go reverse for a second, that's pretty clean, but you can go all the way up or down in order for it to clean off that rear camera as well. And then you're going to pull in towards you in order to be able to get that front wiper fluid going. From there, the car has paddles. So the hybrid paddles, they're not paddle shifters, but the way that it works. So if we're in our B mode or even the D mode along the bottom, so you've got your regenerative braking mode, you can still use the paddles in the regular drive mode, but you can go plus or minus there. So what that one's going to do is essentially your regen braking level mode. So I'll explain the regen braking a little bit more, but what it's going to do in those different modes, it's going to try to recapture that charge. So they're not traditional paddle shifters, but still pretty useful. Down low, you've got a heated steering wheel button in all Canadian trim levels and the highest versions of the US models, but it's heated all the way around. And then the buttons along the outside here, you can change between song stations, presets, etc. If you push and hold it, what that one's going to do is act as a little seek button there instead. So if we turn our power on for a second for our radio, we just go left versus right, changes between presets, push and hold, get that little boop. And what we're doing is we're seeking out to different stations. You've got your volume rocker up and down this way. You can adjust your volume here or push in the middle in order to be able to mute out. Then you've also got a voice command prompt that works 2 different ways. A light button push is going to bring up the assistant for the vehicle where you can do things like change songs, radio stations. You can navigate using your voice if you've got it. You can even adjust out the climate and your fan speed using your voice as well. If you push and hold the button though, if you're hooked up to an Android or an iPhone device, it's going to launch either your Google or your Siri Assistant. There's a little scroll wheel here to adjust out the left part of the cluster. Explain that one in a minute. And then you've got, let's go to this one here first. So you've got this up and down one to adjust out the right part of the cluster. And then the other buttons are going to be for cruise control. So you can toggle cruise on or off this way. There are 2 different types of cruise control inside of the CR-V. So it's either adaptive cruise control or your traditional old school cruise. And the difference, the normal cruise is your basic cruise. So let's say if you set it at 80, if the car in front of you slows down, yours will not brake. versus the adaptive cruise. It's a set it and forget it. So let's say if the car in front of you slows down, yours will auto brake. They change lanes, you change lanes, it's going to pick you back up to your previously set speed. So you can toggle the cruise system on this way. You then push down in order to set your speed. You can increase or decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time by clicking up or down. You could push and hold up or push and hold down to increase, decrease at larger increments. You can hit the brake to cancel, pause your speed. You can push the cancel button to cancel, pause your speed, and then push up again in order to resume your previously set speed. There's also a gap adjustment, but if we take this button here, push and hold it, that changes you between either the cruise mode or the ACC, so the adaptive cruise. So the cruise mode is your regular cruise control versus ACC is the adaptive cruise. And then the regular cruise works the same way. So you'd set your speed, increase, decrease as necessary. But with the adaptive, that's where the gap adjustment comes into play with 4 unique levels. So it's how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. I'm usually okay level 1 most of the time, unless it's snowing out, in which case I'll usually go to 4, but you can control how close or far you are away from the leading vehicle. And then you've also got this little feller. So this one is going to be a lane following or lane keep assist system. So the car is not self-driving, but if you lose focus, your hands are gripping on the steering wheel, you'll notice that the car is going to take you around a bend as long as those lane markings are recognized. You'll actually know it's available because lane markings there will go green and so will the icon. It's a fantastic setup, but if you want a live demonstration of actually using the cruise control system, you'll find that down in the description of this video. Inside of the cluster screen, since this is the hybrid, you have a slightly different look here. If you were in the non-hybrid model, it would be a regular tachometer, but inside of the hybrid, you want to look at this as your traditional tachometer to a degree. So it's your power gauge. How much power are you actively using? And then the gauge this way is your charge gauge. So you're regen braking, either using the paddles there, or by just regular braking, it's going to try to recapture that charge in order to charge up your hybrid battery there. You can see the outside temperature, whatever gear you're currently in, so park, reverse, neutral, drive, etc., or your B mode. I'll touch on the B mode in a second there, but you can see as we do things, like we hit the brake, hit the turn stock, flash out our lights, etc. It shows you in that little car. I love that. It's the tiny little highlight. You can see what drive mode that you're in with a series of options that are available down the center stack. Talk about that in a minute. You've got safety settings that are enabled with your odometer there, your regular speedometer along this side with your fuel gauge there as well. And then whether or not you've got cruise control enabled, disabled, etc., it'll give you a slightly different look with your digital vehicle speed there as well. And then using the little scroll wheel along the left-hand side here as we go up and down, it's going to give us the flexibility to do a few things. So what we're doing is changing between our available audio sources. You can customize the display though. So you can hide and show different things. So if you wanted to hide different options there, you've got that flexibility. So if you're never going to use Android Auto or Alexa, as we scroll up and down this way, it's what information is showing up. Or you can show audio and clock there instead. So we go back, you can have that show up instead if you'd like to. So we've got our clock along the very bottom. Along the right-hand side, same idea. So we're using the little scroll wheel there in order to move up and down with a few options. So since this is the hybrid, you can see what's going on with our power there too. So as you go to drive, it's actually really neat the way that screen looks. If you're not in the hybrid, you just wouldn't have this screen. Moving down a level, you've got your trip counter. So you can push the little scroll wheel in the middle to change between either trip A versus trip B. You can push and hold that counter as well if you wanted to be able to reset your trip counters on top of that. And that's the same thing for your average speed. So you can push in order to go between A versus B, push and hold in order to be able to reset that timer. Down a level is going to be for navigation. So you don't get full mapping cluster inside the vehicle, but if you've got an active route going, this is strictly going to be for factory navigation. So if you're hooked up over Android, iPhone devices, etc., it wouldn't show routes there, but you've at least got your little turn-by-turn directions. And then if you don't have a route going, it just defaults back to a compass view instead. You've got your driver attention monitor, so if you start to veer over too many times without signaling, looks like you're dozing off, your counter goes up. Eventually it's going to tell you that you should probably take a break. Then this one here shows you which axle is getting which amount of power. Looks pretty neat as you go to speed up. If you were front wheel drive, you obviously wouldn't have both axles. It's just because this is an all-wheel drive model. You can see if there is weight on a seat and who actually has their seatbelt on, yes, no. Your maintenance information, so oil life, which you can reset that counter in the infotainment. And then your safety information. So we've got a few different options that are available here. So starting off, the one among the top is the road departure mitigation. So if you start to veer over into another lane without signaling, nudges you back into your lane. Your blind spot system, if somebody enters the blind spot on either the left or the right side, it shows you in your side view mirror. You can toggle on brake control, so you're backing up, and if the vehicle senses something behind you, it can automatically brake for you. Your parking sensors are there, so that beeping that you get as you get closer to obstacles, it's highlighting in the back and the front because we've got the front and the rear parking sensors here. And then there are different collision systems. You can toggle all of these things off if you really want to. I personally don't recommend it because you can see here. So yeah, as we go to disable, enable, etc., it shows you different ones. But I'm personally a bigger fan of these systems. But if you don't like them, you can toggle them off. You can have no content showing up there instead if you'd like. So if we give it a second, nothing's there. So if you want to just like a naked screen, we scroll back down. If you push and hold that scroll wheel button, that's going to change it between either kilometers or miles. Down again, you can adjust out the brightness. I always just recommend max brightness here. Do you want to have your traction control on, off, etc.? The only time you want to toggle it off is if you're not getting good wheel traction, so slippery, snowy conditions, etc. But the snow drive mode does give you pretty good overall traction. And then you can also adjust out a few different things. So do you want to hide and show? So as we scroll up and down, what information do you want showing up? The ones that are grayed out have to be there, but the ones that aren't, you can actually remove them from our scroll up and down. Then you can also change out the design of the cluster there. So do you want a bar design instead? So something a little bit more unique, round minimal, or bar minimal. I'm personally just a bigger fan of the regular round, but play around with that until you find a look that works for you. Along the center here, you've got your push button start, heated seats inside the vehicle. There's dual zone climate control, and if the passenger side is set to something different, you can sync it up to whatever the driver side is. You can adjust out your climate there, toggling it off if you'd like. Air circulation is there as well. So with it turned on, it circulates air from inside the cabin, versus off, it pulls air from outside and brings it in. Do you want your climate going to windshield, face, feet, some sort of Frankenstein combination? Turn on your front defroster, rear defroster, along with your side view mirror defrosters if available. Air conditioning mode. There are two USB power points. The one on the left side is the charge port, as well as data transfer. So if you wanted to use a USB stick with MP3s or audio files, wired Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you want to go that route. This one's just for charging. There's a 12-volt power point, along with a wireless charge pad that you can actually toggle off. Your shifter here, so you've got park, reverse, neutral, drive with your B mode, so that regenerative braking mode that's available. So again, using those paddles in order to change out the regen braking level. And then there's a series of selectable drive modes too. So you've got snow mode, which is going to help out with traction stability control in snowy conditions, versus Econ is your economy mode. So it's essentially going to give you the best possible economy you can get inside the vehicle. Normal is just for like your day-to-day driving, but you can see here, it adjusts out the mode in 2 spots, and then Sport. The CR-V has a CVT transmission. What that means is there's no set number of gears, but what it's going to do is it's going to give you a sportier performance. So rather than shifting, if we go back for a second here, so shifting, I should say, at let's say like 2,500, it might hang off at 50 or 75 instead. If you have got a regular tachometer because you're not in the hybrid, it might shift you closer to redline instead. So it's going to give you better overall performance. It also stiffens up the steering wheel there as well. And then there's also your individual mode, which you can adjust out inside of the infotainment system there. There's downhill brake control, an electronic parking brake, so you pull up to turn it on, push and hold the brake pedal, push down to turn it off. And there's also your brake hold. So with that one enabled, what's going to happen is if you're in drive, come down to a stop, take your foot off the brake pedal, the car is not going to move. Up overhead, you've got an auto-dimming rearview mirror, basic controls for your cabin lights, so you can toggle on each side individually if you'd like to, toggle them all on. You can have them come on when the doors are opened, or you can never have them turn on whatsoever. There's an SOS mode just in case, and then control here. It's a manual shade across the board, but you can push up, or I just push in the middle, I should say, in order to create a little breeze, push down to close, and then away in order to actually slide the roof. And once it's closed, you can actually push away to open them both simultaneously. I know that was a lot of information, but that's everything you need to know about the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Honda CR-V.